guys, one of the first videos that I posted was how I retwisted my hair without heat or without clips, but I know that a lot of people with shorter locks don't have that as an option yet. So I am going to show you how I retwist my hair with clips. I'm still probably not going to use heat, that it drives me nuts. I might use a hand blow dryer, which I won't film, just to speed up the process a little bit because I am leaving soon and it's winter now. But I just figured I'd help out the people with short locks. So my hair has been tied up with this towel for over an hour, and so I always have my spray bottle with me, not to moisten the shaft of my locks, but to moisten the roots. As I retwist, it's really important that your roots are moist to get a good twist. I just shouted out this product, Herb and Life Rosemary Hemp Oil, so I'm just going to apply some of that to my scalp. Now I'm going to use Crystal's Royal Secrets Hair Rejuvenator Juicy Peach. Probably a little on my scalp and my hair, and I use a good amount of this because it's very light. And I tend to put it on right before I retwist, as well as after, or daily for shine, or every few days depending on how my hair looks or how I'm feeling. Actually, before I go completely to the back, I kind of want to look at the screen while I explain the basic technique, and then I'm going to speed it up and you'll watch me do it in the back. So I'm taking not too much product, and I can't even show you, but you know, they say dime size. This is less than dime size. I don't like to put too much product on the shaft of my hair when you see it like turn white and create buildup, but I put enough that I can clearly feel like a textural change. And I'm forgetting my hair is a little bit dry, especially in the front. So the most important part, you know, the technique that I use is palm rolling. If I just palm roll like this, I think you can see that the root of my hair is not any neater than it was just a second ago. You cannot just palm roll. Smoothing is probably the most important part. This is when if you haven't twisted your hair in a while, is when you're cleaning up your parts and separating hair that isn't where it's supposed to be at this point. And this smoothing part is the most important part. And then I twist up here, like, meaning I'm using my finger first to twist before I palm roll, and I'm pulling it in the direction that I want it to go. And then I palm roll. And now, especially those of you who are always asking about frizz, I don't know, because I retwist my hair so naturally, how consistently I do this, but if you're having hair that sticks out, my hair tends to stick out just around the area that's getting ready to lock. You want to continue to move your fingers down. If you feel like you need a little bit more product, you can do that, and twisting down here, and then palm roll all the way down. And if you're having trouble with frizz, maybe putting more product would help that. I haven't had that much trouble, so I don't always go through all of that with every single lock. And then the key is to clip using a double prong clip. You're going to clip your hair and make sure that you get the clip inside of the hair of another lock so that it holds in place. I've heard people say to me, I use the clip and it unravels. Yes, if you clip your hair down there, that does absolutely nothing for keeping it in place, and yes, it will unravel, as you see it happening right now. The point is to keep it in place. So you have to attach it to something else, and then it'll stay. And of course, I would not work forward back, because I'd be attaching it to hair that has not yet been twisted, which doesn't make sense. I always start from the back so that you're always sticking this clip into a lock that has already been retwisted. So now you're going to see me repeat that process. In the back, I'm going to apply product, moisten when I feel like it's necessary with water, smooth the new growth, twist with my fingers, move some product down the length of the lock in order to pull in any frizzy hair and then palm roll and then roll down the rest of the lock when I feel it's necessary. For those of you with starter locks, it is more crucial to do that. My hair is kind of already in place. I don't have to do that as much. I'll spend more time at the roots of my hair than at the ends at this point. So I'm gonna get started. First, I'm moistening the roots of my hair with water since my hair had been sitting in a towel for about an hour. Now I'm pulling down approximately 1 row of locks because that's what I'm going to focus on throughout this video, 1 row at a time. Now I'm applying product to the entire row of locks. I find it a little easier to put a decent amount of product on my fingers and try to spread that evenly across the whole roll rather than risk getting too much product on one lock, trying to keep some of that product on my finger and then retwisting without getting that product on the lock, on the shaft of the lock, or, you know, just a variety of complications. I rather deal with the entire row. And now I'm starting to retwist. I'm smoothing out the roots, palm rolling, and then moving on to the next lock. If you have shorter locks, you may need to put a clip on after each retwist. If you have longer, heavier locks, they may stay in place. Throughout this video, you'll notice that I'll often put 2 locks in 1 clip, but that's optional. Now that I've finished that row, I'm making sure that they're still twisted tight, and I'm putting 1 clip on 2 locks. Depending on the length of your hair or how cooperative your hair is, you may choose to again put 1 lock per clip. I don't always find it necessary. It just kind of depends. You have to feel it out. If you feel like you're stretching your hair too far in one direction to join it with another lock in a single clip, then just put 1 clip on that lock. Now I'm going to repeat the same process with another row of locks, and I'll speed it up because I think you got the hang of it by now. So the front, around the front of your locks really makes or breaks the entire look. Sometimes this is the only part that I retwist when my hair is frizzy. Notice how much time I'm taking to separate the hairs. That's really what makes your retwist look neat, is to ensure that your parts are clean. And so if when you have hair that has crossed over or just it's grown out, or your parts are just not as visible, this is where you should spend the most of your time. Smoothing your roots and separating hair out the way that is strayed or that's just grown in. I tend to be a little heavier with the product around my edges as well. So here my locks are so large, I almost do like a flat twist coming from here. Just making sure that all the hair is in. And those of you with shorter locks, you'll notice that in the back, I oftentimes used one clip for more than one lock. My locks stay in place, again, like the more mature your locks are, they just kind of do what they're supposed to, but they stay in place because they're heavier and longer. You may need, you know, your lock may not have stayed in place like that. You may need to put a clip, buy enough clips for every single lock. So don't say, you know, don't feel like, oh, my hair is not as cooperative as Joy's. Like your locks are just not as mature or long. I wasn't always able to do this. So, you know, be okay with using one clip for every single lock until your hair starts doing the right thing on its own. Really small detail, but I have to decide where that little bit of hair that wasn't in any particular lock goes. And there's no right or wrong answer. I just had to see what felt or looked best to me. I'll come back to show you how it looks when it's all dry. So I'm just about finished taking out the clips. It's about 5.5 hours later. My hair, I didn't have time to use the blow dryer because I did have to leave the house. It's a warmer day. It was like almost 60 degrees today. The tips of my hair are dry, but kind of like in this middle range here, it's still a little bit damp. It seems like the roots and the tips dry. I think it kind of goes this way. But it's feeling, it's good enough. The most important thing before you take the clips out is that your roots are dry. If your roots are dry, your twist will not stay in place. It'll look like you did absolutely nothing. So if the roots are dry, I'm cool with taking these out. The perk of this method versus the ponytail method that I showed in my earlier video is that you don't risk getting any of the ponytail holder bend in your hair. And I avoided that by taking it out earlier than it, you know, before it was completely dry. But this, there's absolutely no risk of any bend in your hair. Is completely where you want it to be. So I'll just move in so you can see. Actually, let's just do this. Something I forgot to tell you that I do sometimes when if I've gone an extended, I can't say extended period of time. I never go more than 3 weeks without washing my hair. But one thing that you can do to help when your parts get crazy is actually use the clip to separate the hair. After I filmed, I actually noticed something funny happening here, and I re-parted this, and I use this to just part, and it helps. It's a little bit more accurate than your finger since it's so skinny. I forgot to mention that. Here is the results of a retwist with clips. Hopefully that's helpful for those of you who are new to the lock journey, or just maybe a year or so in. And if you have any questions, again, the fastest way to get me is to hit me up on Instagram at @JoyMarily, or message me on Facebook, or comment on one of my pictures on either place. And I'm sorry that I'm really slow with YouTube for a variety of reasons. But the Facebook and Instagram I'm on constantly. So ask me any questions. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you for the next one. It's my journey.